Hi all, today I'm going to show you how to loom knit a cinched ear warmer made from just my 24 peg knitting loom, some thick yarn. This is actually recycled plastic bottle yarn, could you believe, because I love my recycled yarn. And I've got my loom pick, I've got a needle to take the stitches off at the end. I've also got some scissors, and I've got a button, oops, just there, little coconut shell button, and some thinner yarn to secure the button to. This is organic cotton, it's a nice little contrast. So the first thing we need to do is cast on our stitches. And to do that, we're going to take the tail yarn and put it around our fingers. And then we're going to put the working yarn through to make a loop. And then that loop tightens up and loosens depending on what you want to do. And we're just going to put that on the anchor peg like this and then tighten up. We are going to take it off a bit later on. And now we're going to do what we call the drawstring cast on. So this is my first peg, so I'm going to go behind that with the working yarn, then in front, then behind the next one, then in front, and so on, all the way round. I'm just going to get a bit more wool. It's a little bit like if you've ever used a circular knitting machine before. It's the same cast on as that, but literally on a loom, which is a similar idea. It's all the way around, so forward and back and forward. Now for the last one, you've got to go back around that peg there. Obviously there's nothing on it now, but there will be once we've cast on fully. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the second half of our cast on. Now you can either take the wool around like this and then knit. I have struggled with that in the past because I've lost the wool going round. So what I like to do is put it in front of the ones that I'm going to knit on. So in front of the first one here, and then go up and over, and then do that all the way around. So I can't do it on the second one, but I can do it on the third one, and so on. And you've obviously got to do, because there's 24 pegs, then I'm going to be doing it 12 times in the one circle here. Up and over, and then again, there it is down the bottom there, up and over. And eventually there will be one stitch on each peg apart from that one peg that hasn't got one on, but we'll deal with that in just a minute. Up and over, up, and it's quite tricky because you've got to make sure that the working yarn stays on. Up and over, a few more, and I think we're there. Up and over, up and over again, and then one more here, and then we're back at the beginning again. Okay, so that's half of it done, but we haven't got any stitches at all on this first peg. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do what I call the E-wrap. So I'm going to take my yarn from behind that last peg, and I'm going to wrap it around every single peg like this. Okay, so that you've got 2 stitches on each one, apart from the one at the beginning, but that's okay, which I'll come on to in just a second. So all the way around like this, and then when we get to that last one to the left of the anchor peg, we're going to try and hold that yarn, the working yarn, down. And again, we're going to go around each one. So I can't do this one because there's not one at the bottom, but I can do the next one. And I'm going to do that all the way around. It's quite tricky because you've got to try and keep that working yarn in place. At the minute it's here, So I might just put it on the anchor peg a few times and just sort of hold on to it while I go round. So we're here, and then this one. And you literally just do this, lift it up and over, all the way round. Okay, like this. And then that's your cast on row, oops, complete. Get to the end, and then I'll show you what to do for the rest of them. I'm going to make mine around 20 inches or so for an adult. If you were doing a teenager, you would maybe do, I don't know, 18 inches and then 14 inches for a smaller child. Okay, so now I've got one stitch on each peg. I'm just going to literally push them down so they're on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to E-wrap again around each one for the second row, just like we did a minute ago. Keep pushing the stitches down, you don't want them getting confused. And then this is all you do until your length measures your 20 inches or however long you want it to be. Okay, so I'm going to keep going all the way around, and I'm back at the beginning again. And again, anchor it. Like I said, I will move the slip knot. I might do it on this next one actually. So do it all the way around. Round we go. Oh, I think I've lost one there. That's okay. So what I'll have to do is just undo that bit again, and then where did I get to? Here, and then just wrap again. So if you lose one, it is quite easy to find where you've not wrapped, and you can just re-wrap from where you went wrong, like what I've had to do. Easily done. Okay, so where did I get to? So I've got to this one here. So back over, up and over. So if you've got only one stitch on the peg, that just means that you haven't wrapped one. If you've got two stitches on a peg at the end, it means that you haven't knitted it. So you can just go back and knit that one off. Okay, there we go, we're getting there. You won't see very much right now, so obviously I'm right at the beginning. Okay, so we're going to finish off here. And then this one. And I've got a couple more. That's my last one. Okay, so what I can do now is I can take off this, the anchor, the slip knot here. So I don't need that now, so my stitches are all on. So I'm just going to pull it off the anchor peg, and then I can just push it through. Doesn't matter where it goes. Just push it through one of the gaps in the pegs. There it is, found it. Okay, and then you're ready to wrap again. So you continue to do this all the way around. You just continue to wrap, do your E-wrap, starting at the first peg and going all the way around. And then you just knit one up and over, up and over. And you do that until your length is around 20 inches or however long as you want it to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back and I'll show you how to finish them off. Okay, so I've gone around for around 20 inches. It might be a little bit less, but I was running out of wool. And it's actually come out really nicely. So what we need to do now is cast off and then assemble. So to cast off, you need to take maybe 1 and a bit rounds. Might go round one, yeah, one and a half-ish rounds of your yarn. And there's a couple of ways that you can cast off. I just prefer to sew. So I'm going to I've got a massive needle here. There it is, big metal one. And I'm going to thread the needle, okay, with the end of the yarn that I've just cut. And now I'm going to go through each stitch and take it off by securing it. So my last stitch was here. So I'm going to go through this next one, okay, and go up and through, and that just secures it. Now I like to take mine off as I go, but you may just want to, you know, take them off at the end. Doesn't matter, as long as you've got them secured, they're not going to go anywhere. So I just like to take mine off and come through to the front. And as I said, you've got 24 pegs on here, so you've got to do this 24 times. It's just the same as doing it on one of the circular knitting machines, but obviously you've got a crank that you use for those. Ooh. And then I'll show you what it looks like once you've taken it off and all your stitches are nice and secure. Nothing worse than having a lost stitch. It's very annoying. I have had numerous stitches that have come off and I've had to either start it again, or if it's a stitch that's come off on the row that you're working on, it is quite easy to fix them. But okay, so I'm just going to go through each one in turn like this. Okay, so I'm probably about nearly halfway now. And it's just literally securing each stitch ready for the final assembly. Now, what have I done here? Now, because this yarn, I'm just going to take this one out. Let's get the end again. There we go. This yarn has got a lot of different sort of layers to it, and I think I just missed one of them. So I've got to make sure that I get every single of the plies, if you like. So this one's obviously quite a thick yarn. I've got to make sure that I go through the whole stitch and that I don't miss any of it. Okay, that's that one. Now we'll go to this one. Same again, just making sure that you've got the whole stitch when you're securing them. These stitches on the peg, they are currently live because you haven't knitted them off yet. So you just need to make sure that you are getting all of the yarn, because sometimes some yarns can split quite easily and you've got to be careful that you are getting all of them. Right, I'm getting close to the end now, I think. Again, as you do more of these, you'll get quicker at taking them off. Not that it matters, because loom knitting's not that fast a thing anyway. It will take as long as it takes. I do love loom knitting because I think it just looks so cool and very unusual when you finish knitting the pieces. Very bold look. Right, so again, I've got to make sure that I have definitely got them all. I'm not missing one. But again, because they're quite big stitches, you can, you know, possibly go back and rescue one that you missed. Got a couple more to go. So that's gone around the anchor peg. Okay, so I'm just going to take this one off, and then this one, and then this is my last one here. Okay, so I think they're all secure now. I'm going to have one more look. So I'm just going to push all of that through and just make sure that I have secured all of them. Okay, so I can't see. Yes, I have. Good. So this is what you're left with. Okay, let me see what mine does measure. Like I said, I did run out of my wool, so I don't think I'm too far away. Okay, so I'm on 19, so I'm 19 and a half actually, so I'm not many miles away at all. And then to finish, it's really, really easy. You just literally pull, don't pull too hard or you might break the wool, but you literally pull your ends together and they come together really nicely. If you keep pulling bit by bit, straighten it out as you go. You want to have nice straight stitches if you can. So it's quite a thick wool, as I said, this one. It's this recycled plastic bottles, but it does knit up very nicely. And it's got like little nubbly bits in it as well. Okay, so literally straighten it up, and when you're pulling the end together, okay, so I've got a nice little sort of shape going on at the end there, and then you just literally take your needle and go through and just secure. So I'm just literally taking it through that top bit, coming out the other side. It doesn't really matter, sort of there. And then I'm going to make a little knot here to secure my work. Okay, now I'm going to leave that for now. So we're going to be using that again in a few minutes. That's my first end. And you do exactly the same with the other end. This is your cast on end. And you literally just pull that in exactly the same way, like this. Try and get it as neat as you can, and try to make sure that you haven't got any bits that are sort of sticking on the inside. Make sure that you know, you've only got your one layer, as it were. And again, you can just pull that nice and tight. There's a few ways you can finish these off, but I'm just going to show you the way that I'm used to. Get your needle again, thread the end of the yarn. Mine's being a bit difficult. Oh, there we go. And again, you can just secure that end in place by making a little knot. So I'm going to go through the top there. Haven't got to do much. Then just go the other way. Just going to try and make it so it's not obvious where I've gone through there. That will be fine. Okay, and then just make another knot. Right, I've got a knot in mine, so I have to unknot my knot, as it were. There we go. So I'm just going to pull through now, and then I'm going to go run my needle through that little loop I've made just to tighten it up. Okay, so they are now secure. So now to finish off, all you need to do, in fact, before I do that, I've got a little end. I ran out of yarn, so I've got like a little end here. I'm just going to see if I can poke that through. Let's have a look. If not, it's not the end of the world, but it would be nice just not to have it in sight, as it were. So let's try and just pull that through a little bit. Is that going to go? Yeah. So I could have that knotted bit on the inside if I wanted to. I can just feel it there. So it's whatever you want, really. Okay. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to bring them together like this. And again, there's a few ways that you can do this. You can knot them together first. It's probably not a bad idea. So I'm going to make sure it's looking how I want it to. And I can knot them together. Again, like I said, there's a few ways that you can do this, like that. I might do one more knot as well. I'm one of these people that likes to make things super secure. Okay, and then what you can do is you can take your needle again. Okay, it doesn't matter which end you use. And then you can just literally sew these together. So what I might do, this is going to be like the front of it. So I'm going to go through to the back. Let's go in, let's have a look. I mean, as it depends on how tight you want your join to be. So I'm just going to go to the back, bring it through, and then you can literally just sew. Turn it around, actually, this back bit up a little bit so the join is more together. It's up to you, you don't have to, but again, if you want the security of it, just to make sure that you're happy with the way it's joined, just a few stitches would be good just to keep that in place. Okay, and then I've got one more little trick as well. I might just do a few more stitches in there just to make sure I'm happy with it staying. So just literally through one side, out through the other. Okay, so that's making it nice and secure. And then I might just do the same at the bottom, at the other edge as well. So run your needle through. As I say, there are several different ways of doing this, and you've got to find the one that works best for you. Let's pop that in there. There we go. And then I might just do one more. Okay, and have a look at it on the other side and see how you think it looks. You might even want to have the other side as the front. It's whatever you think looks best. And then what you could do one of two things. You could either, I might flip mine around actually, so I don't know which one I prefer the look of. It's up to you. Whichever side you think looks best will be your front, okay? So what you could also do is take your two pieces of yarn. Okay, so I've got one there and there. And then, let's have one more check and make sure I'm happy with the side it is. To be honest, there's not much in mine actually. Maybe I'll make this one the front. So what you could do, I was going to put a button on mine. I was going to put a button just on there, which does look quite nice. But what you could also do is you could wrap your pieces of yarn around the middle just to make it look a little bit more interesting. Pull them fairly tight so that they're not going to go anywhere. You could even put a button on top of that. There we go, like that. And then, you can wrap it around. You can have it quite a thick centre or a thinner one. It's whatever you want. So I could leave it like that. That actually looks quite nice, you see. Or I could do just a couple more. It's whatever you want. And then you would just secure them in place as well. I might just do one more this side and keep it level. Right, so this is definitely my front there, okay? So when you're happy with it, what I normally do is I take one end, so the end that I've already got, okay, just tighten it up, make sure you're good, it's all good. I'm just going to literally sew this into the where you've been wrapping. So it's not going to come out. Do the same with the other one. Again, it's up to you how you want to do this. You might just want to make a couple of knots where you are. I just like the added security so that I know that it's not going to go anywhere. So put that through. I want to go through somewhere similar. There, that'll do. And then come through. Okay. That looks good. And then I'm just literally going to knot these off together like this. And I've got my needle in place there still. Like this. One knot. Again, I like having a couple of knots just to make sure that it's all okay. And then you can literally just thread the remainder through your work so it's tucked away. So go just between the layers. Okay, so I'm going to, it doesn't matter, sort of just bring it along like this. Okay, and then I can just take this off, trim, and then do the same on the other side. There we are, there's my other end. Right, just going to put this one in. And again, just sew that through so it's obviously it's not showing. So my knot's there, so I'm just going to come through there. Just go down a little way. So I'm here, and I'm just where am I going to go? I'm going to poke myself out. Just find like a natural place for you to, that'll be fine, to take it through. Okay, and then pull, and then get rid of the excess, stretch it out, and there you have it. Now I actually think that looks quite nice. You could, I guess you could put a button on top as well. That's your decision, of course, but that is how you make a rather cool loom knitted ear warmer. You can make these as little neck cowls as well. You can make a longer one and make it into a scarf. There's a load of things that you can do. But I actually think that does look really, really cool. I'll take a photo of it on my mannequin and I'll show you what it looks like in action. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll be back soon for some more No Needles knitting. Take care. Bye.